Headaches absolutely plagued me. It was one of my most prominent symptoms when my health blew up. And there was a pretty long period, probably of about a year, where I pretty much had a headache, like a solid headache. And even after that, in the second year, they did improve slightly, but every time I would overdo it or do a little bit too much, I would get a headache. And it was almost like my body's red light warning to say that I've done too much. But even then, sometimes it could just be looking at a screen or just having a conversation and I would just get a headache. It was absolute hell. I have always hated taking pills as well, so I've done quite a lot of experimenting with different natural remedies, so I'm going to talk about those in this video. So this video is going to be more about temporary relief, like what you can do in the moment of having a headache, rather than long-term fixes. Because even though I have pretty much gotten rid of my headaches altogether, it's pretty impossible to pinpoint how I've done this. It's kind of just been more of a slow and gradual change, like as I've tackled each part of my health, for example, addressing infections, gut issues, mitochondrial support, optimizing thyroid function, having a super clean diet, focusing on stress management, meditation, yoga, exercises, saunas, cold water exposure, and I could go on and on and on and on. But basically, as my health has improved, my headaches have just gone away, as with most of the other symptoms I was having. But sometimes when your head is just banging, you just want relief there and then. And when you feel like pure shit, just lifting a headache can really help how the rest of you feels. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So one thing that I have tried quite a lot is these Kool and Sooth gel sheets. These are designed to provide immediate cooling relief, and they come ready to use. They don't need to be put in the fridge, and each gel sheet stays in place and provides up to 6 hours of cooling relief, and it can also be removed without leaving a sticky mess on your forehead. So according to the pack, these should be used at the first sign of a headache for best results. What's good about these is that they're pill-free, and that also means if you are using painkillers, then you can also use these alongside for extra relief. So I found with using these that a lot of the time, if it's a really bad headache, they haven't been able to fully get rid of the headache, but it has given me some relief. And it feels really nice. It pretty much feels like, you know, if you've got like an ice cold cloth on your forehead and it's, you know, really soothing when you've got a headache. So it feels like that. So it does give relief, but I wouldn't say that it can completely exterminate all headaches, but I would definitely suggest trying it. I would often use this as the first port of call when I do get a headache before having paracetamol or ibuprofen, because sometimes I put one on and then, especially if it's a mild one or if it's at the very beginning of one, then I don't need to take a painkiller. But there are definitely times where I have to do both. So it's definitely worth giving it a try anyway. And how it works is, so it comes in like little packets. So I've got one open here. This is one I prepared earlier. So basically it's just like a little like sheet, like a little fabric sheet, and you just peel a little bit of plastic off and stick it on your forehead, and ooh, that feels really nice. Oh. Yeah, and then you can just keep that on and you can just look a bit like an Egypt, but it feels good. So definitely worth a try. And this is very similar, but another thing that I have experimented with is a forehead stick. This is specifically designed to be applied directly to the point of pain on the forehead. And the active ingredient is levomenthol, which is more commonly referred to as menthol. According to the website, when this forehead stick is applied, it causes a cooling and tingling sensation dilating the blood vessels in the skin, helping to block pain signals to the brain, and it can also help to relieve and relax tense muscles in the head. So just like the Kool and Sooth sheets, these are also pill-free, only the handy thing with this is it is more convenient, so you can just carry it around with you, and you can also apply it as many times as you want. And another handy thing, you don't have to look like an idiot having a big strip on your forehead, so that's always handy. So I've had a similar experience with this as the Kool and Sooth strips. I'd say this also does provide definite relief, but yeah, I would say a lot of the time if it's a bad headache, I have still needed to take paracetamol or whatever, but there has also been times where I've just used this and it's helped. So similar to the strips, I would often just grab this out of my drawer if I was feeling like I was getting a headache, put it on, and then sometimes that's all I needed. So it is definitely worth giving it a go. And you can see it's just like a, I don't even know what to call it. It's kind of just like a balm sort of thing. So you just like do this and then it feels really nice, and it's kind of like mentally. So yeah, I would recommend giving that a go. Another thing I tried when it came to treating headaches was CBD oil. I have to say that although I know that a lot of people find relief in CBD oil when it comes to headaches and migraines, I wouldn't say it has helped me massively, but there has been a couple of occasions, maybe 2 occasions, where I was having a really bad headache and it was late at night and I took some before I went to sleep, and I'd wake up the next morning and feel really fresh and headache free. And for me at that time, when these headaches would go on for days, that was quite a big deal. But I don't know if that is just because maybe I got a better sleep, or I don't know. But yeah, it definitely has helped a couple of times, but I've tried it many other times and it didn't help. But I should also say that I do take CBD oil pretty much every night at the minute to help with sleep. And this has also coincided with the fact that I don't have headaches anymore. But I feel like that's probably to do with the many other things that I've been doing. But it's possible that this has helped too. So yeah, so I would say it's definitely worth trying. If you do have success with this, let me know in the comments because I'm curious to hear. So now I do have to talk about paracetamol and ibuprofen because these are things that I'm always really reluctant to try. I don't know why, I just generally prefer natural methods if I can help it. But I actually didn't know much about paracetamol and ibuprofen until I came to doing a wee bit of research for this video, and I found it quite interesting, so I thought I'd just read some of it out. So according to the NHS, paracetamol and ibuprofen work in different ways, and they explain that paracetamol is usually best for most types of pain, including headaches and stomachache. Another source explains that the main difference between the 2 medications is that ibuprofen reduces inflammation, whereas paracetamol does not. The article explained that while both medicines are safe, paracetamol has fewer risks associated with it among groups of people such as the elderly and those with kidney disease or prone to gastrointestinal bleeding. But if there's an inflammatory component, then you're better off taking ibuprofen. Personally, I do use paracetamol more often than ibuprofen because that's just what my mum has in the cupboard. And pretty much these always sort out my headaches. Like I said, I do always find that I prefer to try the natural things first. So I'll generally maybe try the, forehead thing, and then I'll try a forehead strip, and then eventually, like if it is really bad and I'm suffering, then I would take a paracetamol or ibuprofen. Especially back in the days when every day just felt like utter shite. You know, I would have a hangover, feeling jet lagged every single day, and you know, in those days, if I could take paracetamol to help just with part of that, then screw it, I'll take a paracetamol and risk the small chances that it might have a negative consequence, because I really was suffering then. So, but I definitely think that those other natural methods can really help as well. And I put out a little call on Instagram just to see if anyone else had any suggestions for when it comes to treating headaches, and I got 2 responses. One person said that he suggests massages. This is not something that I've tried to treat a headache with, but I can imagine that, especially if it's like, you know, like a tension headache or maybe one from stress or whatever, then a massage probably would help. So worth a try. Another suggestion, I think this one's pretty genius. Somebody suggested peppermint oil, 1 drop on top of moisturizer or carrier oil on the forehead. So that sounds pretty worthwhile trying. I imagine it's probably similar effect to the forehead stick, which by the way is like really tingling my forehead right now and it feels quite nice. So yes, that's quite interesting. If anyone watching this has any other suggestions on how to help ease headaches, then please write it in the comments, or even direct message me on Instagram, because it's something that, you know, I think we can all pull together, and if we all share our tips, then maybe it's going to help someone else. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, then feel free to subscribe or like this video. There's going to be a lot more coming like it, so thank you for watching and goodbye.